Hey Rad World, welcome back to another episode of Review. Ready Player One, starring Ty Sheridan, Olivia Cooke, Ben Mendelsohn, and directed by Steven Spielberg. This movie's based on a book written by Ernest Cline, and the book, same title, Ready Player One, came out a while back. I read it about 3 or 4 years ago, and I loved it when I read it. It is definitely a book written by a geek for geeks, full of tons of ridiculous references, mainly surrounding 80s pop culture. Ready Player One is about a future where everyone lives in a virtual reality system called the Oasis. The creator of the Oasis has passed away, and now he's created pretty much a big game within it, and whoever can complete the game first will own it, will own the Oasis. They'll be given tons of money and be able to choose what to do with this virtual reality system. So let's jump right into this review. If you follow me on Stardust, you will know that I enjoyed the movie. I posted it right when I came out of the theater last night. I was able to get my initial reaction right there on the Stardust app. First and foremost, this is definitely a Spielberg film. The way that he is able to capture tons of characters all in one shot, from action sequences to action sequences, blending all these cuts and scenes together, and just in this awe-amazing adventure is definitely what I would call a Spielberg movie. It's got that magic in moments that remind me, at least, of my childhood, and I thoroughly enjoyed those moments. I loved all the geek references for the most part. I love seeing all my favorite characters kind of on screen fighting each other and all that stuff. Like, the geek in me loves that, but there are a handful of moments throughout the film where it felt like characters were kind of shoot in and product placement. Even though it's all kind of product placement, there's just like a handful of them that just felt wrong. Some characters are treated with love, and some characters are treated with money in mind, I think. I think that's going to turn a lot of people off, but I think that there's a lot of people that are probably going to enjoy it. Especially there's a moment in the end of the film with a big grand finale, big giant battle sequence, where I got to see two of my favorite characters of all time fight each other, and I thought that was pretty awesome. So I loved it on that side of it. My problem with the movie is not the Oasis and the visuals and all the special effects and like kind of the fact that half this movie is a CG like animated film for the most part. I had no problem with any of that. Where this movie really lacks for me is the characters. We don't really care about any of them. The main character, Parzival, we understand that he, lives in a poor family and life is kind of hard, so he likes the escape of the Oasis. But we get that knowledge by pretty much 15 to 20 minutes straight of narration right in the beginning of the film, where they just decide to tell you this big, long story instead of just kind of showing it to you, which is always a big beef of mine. But once the movie picks up, it does get really fun. With all those visuals and these cool action sequences. There's a race sequence in the beginning that is awesome. But the characters, it just comes back to characters, and if I can't get attached to characters, then I can't get attached to a story. That's where it is. So that's my biggest issue. Ben Mendelsohn, though, awesome in the movie. He's just such a great villain. He always plays really awesome villains, and in this one in particular, I think is maybe one of my more favorite villains that he's played. He's great in it. And his motivations are just clear enough to work, where the other characters' motivations, they'll give you just like one line in the film to go, okay, this is what you're doing. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And most of the time it doesn't, I feel like, in this movie. And that's probably my biggest issue with Hollywood movies today, is just the lack of stakes. This movie takes place in a virtual reality world, so there's no point in the film where you really feel like the people are in danger, even when in the real world they start to become in danger because of what they've set up. You just don't feel it. And that's a huge issue I have with the storytelling, because in the book, I feel like the stakes were there the whole time, even in the virtual reality system. The repercussions for dying within the world were so much greater in the book than in the movie, and this is just one of those cases where I have read the book, so the movie just not gonna quite live up to it. Overall, though, I did have a really good time watching the movie, especially being a geek, seeing all these like pop culture references and things on the big screen. I did enjoy that aspect of it. Alright, so I'm gonna wrap this review up right there. Ready Player One gets a 6.5 out of 10. I found it to be a great popcorn movie, really enjoyable, but just lacked any sort of depth or characters, nothing to really get attached to. But a fun 2.5 hours staring at a screen, shoving popcorn down my face. So, good times at the movie theater. Alright, so what did you think of Ready Player One? Be sure to leave a comment below. Follow me on Stardust if you want to see my initial reactions walking out of these movies from here on out. You can get my lead up to the film right when I walk out. Any TV shows, anything. I'm just going to start using that app a lot because I thought it was a lot of fun. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more episodes just like this one, and I'll see you guys next time right here on Rad Entertainment.